Welcome into yet another installment of Football Officials Training Videos. This, the 2013 season, we're up to week 7, studying the National Federation of High School Rules and Mechanics, brought to you by the HSFO and by the Arkansas Association of High School Officials. Visit our website at aahso.com. This week, we're going to take a look at what might be an end zone celebration, and we're going to take a look at another one of those elusive plays involving a block in the back. And we're going to take a look at a couple of things that we do really well this week. This presentation is brought to you by the Reading Study Guide to the NFHS football rules. The Reading Study Guide. When you're through learning, you're through. All right, first play we're going to talk about unsportsmanlike conduct, and this category is celebration, and we rule this as an incorrect call. Take a look at a little inside handoff that goes outside in and then back out. Good seal block there, and this player is now running in space here with no one contesting. Back judge, good position, and he just raises his finger there right as he goes into the 5-yard line there and just points up at the sky, and we drop a flag for him. Good position by the back judge here on ruling something that could happen near the goal line, but we don't have anything in this case, and we drop this flag for unsportsmanlike celebration. Couple of rule references here. Talks about 9.5 talks about unsportsmanlike conduct for players, and 9.8 talks about non-players. I also want to give you a Reading Study Guide reference. This appears in Major Fouls, Chapter 8, page 109. Good reading. I would encourage you to read this on unsportsmanlike conduct because this is spontaneous. He just points his finger up into the air. He doesn't demean his opponent. It's not a prolonged act. This is perfectly legal under the National Federation of High School Rules, and we don't want a foul called here in this situation. Things that we would like for fouls to be called is just, visual taunting. If the player slashes his throat or points at his opponent or offers him the ball as he's running down the field, high-stepping, gyrating, some kind of a dance celebration in the end zone, which we see him do on Sunday a lot, but we don't allow that on Friday night. Anything that's choreographed or planned or is prolonged, we want a foul to be called on that. But these spontaneous acts, if a player goes to the ground and kneels and prays or anything like that, we wouldn't want a foul called on those things because they're, again, not demeaning to his opponent, not choreographed, not planned, and not prolonged. Those are things that we want to avoid calling fouls on when we just do these little points up to the sky or we have take a knee and offer a short prayer. These are all permissible in the rule. So let's read up on 9.5 and 9.8. A couple of things there we looked at, give you some guidance on calling fouls for unsportsmanlike conduct. All right, one we got right. Like to see these. This is an offensive holding play. Call's going to be made by the line judge. CC initials mean that is a correct call. Love to see that. Give you a highlight here on the fullback. This is the real player I want you to keep your eye on. Comes out here and grabs this linebacker and just grabs a hold of him, pulls him, and then throws him down right as the ball carrier runs by. Sets that hook in on the backside. Give you a couple looks at it here. Just comes down and grabs him, grabs the outside, sets a hook on the inside there. You can see it, his right hand, and then just tackles him right at the point of attack. Good job by the line judges. All this action's coming right at him. Looks like a pretty tight sideline, too. And we're able to focus there, and good placement on the flag, and good job continuing to officiate. He doesn't drop his flag and then give up on the play. Continues to work his way downfield. Correct call for offensive holding. All right, here's our weekly illegal block in the back play, and unfortunately these are weekly because line judge referee, another incorrect call. And we talk about this and we expose ourselves when we're not thinking about chase mode. Look at this, a player that I want you to watch, and okay, we put the bar up here so we can see. Now this left shoulder, this defender is 9 o'clock, right shoulder 3 o'clock, and this offensive player is clearly approaching him from in front of that position. So there's no way that he's in a rear position or in a chase mode. And if you're not familiar with the term chase mode, go back and watch previous videos. We've talked about it 3 weeks in a row. But we've got to learn to identify this and quickly put these players in either chase mode or non-chase mode. So we can see this player clearly out in front, and then the contact comes in clearly from the side. Give you 2 looks at it here. This wide angle shot, and then again from the end zone. 2 flags there, line judge and the referee. You see there's the player in the approach. Now if we could just freeze frame out on the field, wham. No possible way that block is from the back. It's clearly from the front. Even the contact is in the front. And It's just not a block in the back. We got to do better at recognizing chase mode. And we've got to do a better job of increasing our accuracy. And this is critical down near the red zone. We've got to get these plays right for illegal blocks in the back. All right, got a play here. This one's roughing the kicker, called by the referee, and this play is correctly officiated. But a couple things that I do want to point out about this. First of all, the action is going to happen on the right side in the B gap, where this defensive lineman is going to come in and blow up and make an attempt to block the kick. But I want to talk about the position of the referee here. I want you to move to this position where I have the red dot, because there's two things that you need to rule on this play. One is obviously action on the kicker and the holder. But the second thing is we want you to be able to officiate these end men, these two players on the end of the line. Because if we have a hold, it's probably going to come from this spot as the defensive end beats this player around the outside. Normally what we see is he'll just hook that defender as he goes by him, and then you'll have a restriction right there. But if you'll move into this position that I have illustrated on the play here, you're able to see both end players, and you can follow the action right into the kicker and the holder. The other problem is when this kicker goes by the holder, you're going to be looking dead at the back of the kicker, and you're not going to be able to see the action out in front of it. But from this position here, as we talked about earlier, you've got a real good look in at the holder, and you're almost even with the kicker if he takes a hit, which we'll see in this play here. The lineman just comes in, bam, misses the ball as he leaps there, and then the kicker and the defensive player go to the ground. Let me wind this back for you because I'm going to show you this action. Actually, as he leaps here, he literally tries to grab the kicker and prevent him from falling, and doing that, they both end up on the ground. But unfortunately, intention's not some of the things that we want to rule on. This is a foul for roughing the kicker, and it's correctly officiated by the referee in this play. Good job. All right, next let's take a look at an illegal block below the waist. IBW is the foul code. This involves the umpire, and this is a no call on this play. Before we talk about this block below the waist, we need to talk about the free blocking zone and enforcement in this zone. Consistent enforcement of the blocking below the waist zone is critically important. The free blocking zone is basically defined as just a rectangular area that extends laterally 4 yards either side of the spot of the snap and 3 yards behind each line of scrimmage. A player is considered to be in the free blocking zone when any part of his body is in the zone at the snap. Now, the definition of the line of scrimmage for each team is just a vertical plane through the point of the ball nearest to that team's goal line. Blocking below the waist is permitted in the free blocking zone when all the players involved in the block are on the line of scrimmage and in the zone at the snap. The contact has to occur in the free blocking zone, and the ball cannot have left the zone. That's the important part of this play. So let's take a look at where this free blocking zone should be. The ball is snapped at, we're going to just say basically the 11-yard line. So the free blocking zone would extend back to the 8-yard line. And 4 yards either side of that, it's not going to be important in this play because the ball is going to drop straight back with the quarterback. So keep that in mind when we look at this play. And let's take a look. Action occurs pretty fast. Important for the umpire to understand who his keys are. Guard, center, guard. The right guard pulls on this play over to the left side. Keep an eye on this defensive player right here. Here's the pulling guard right here. And here's the ball now is at the 6-yard line, and you see this player is getting cut. So the ball has left the zone, and the player is getting cut. The defensive player is cutting the pulling guard on this play. And although both players were on the line of scrimmage, this action is occurring in the zone. The ball is clearly out of the zone near the 6-yard line. Got a couple of looks at this play. We'll be able to take a look at it also wide zone here. Here's the player you need to keep your eye on defense. Boom, player just gets cut there. You can't really tell where the ball is, but we know from the wide shot that the ball is out of the zone. Slow motion, you can take a look at this action. It's right in front of the umpire, but there's a lot going on as this play moves from his left to right. Wide shot again gives you a clear look. Boom, ball at the 6-yard line. The pulling guard's getting cut right there. This is a foul for illegal block below the waist. Umpires, you got to know where your keys are. Guard, center, guard. When they start to pull, you got to follow your players and see where the potential threat is. This action also occurs fairly late in the play, so you just need to locate the ball. Once you see that it's out of the zone, you're safe to throw a flag there. All right, let's take a look at this play where we call roughing the snapper. The call's made by the umpire, and we rule this call an incorrect call. Before we look at the play, though, let's talk about a couple of things. First, you got to be a good Rule 2 official, and that means you got to understand what the definition of a snapper is. It's on page 35. Look at Rule 2-32.14. And then the foul for roughing the snapper is in the roughing fouls, which are in 9.4.6. Check page 70, 13 rule book for that explanation. And we're looking at this play here, and basically what we've got is just this defensive linemen are shooting this A gap. Now the A gap is the gap between the center and the guard. The B gap is the gap between the guard and the tackle. So they're shooting this A gap here and making a play for the ball, and we incorrectly rule this as roughing the snapper. Take a look at the snapper here right at this location, and then watch the action of the snapper as the ball is snapped and these players come through immediately when the ball is snapped. You can see the center here. He doesn't even go to the ground. He just takes a couple of steps back, and you can tell that most of that action is on the sides, his arms and shoulders, not anywhere. And actually, they contact more with the player that are next to the center than they do with the center. And here's the end zone shot. You can see they're just running through the gap. And the protection that the snapper has, it doesn't include simultaneous contact with the guard on either side of him and with him, nor does this rule take away the gap, that A gap between the guard and the center, which is where these guys are just running through. They're just driving through the A gap. And so this is not a foul. Again, definition for snappers in 232.14. You definitely want to take a look at that. Also, take a look in the casebook under roughing the snapper, 9.4.6. Situation B, really, it does address this exact play when we're talking about these players shooting the gaps and making contact with the guard or the player next to the center and the center simultaneously. When we see a foul for roughing the snapper, we want that contact to be head up directly on the snapper, and this doesn't rise to that level. This is not a foul. All right, guys, thanks for spending some time looking at these plays today. Keep working hard. We're getting to the meat of the schedule. This is really, these last 3 weeks have a huge impact on how the playoffs are put together. So continue to focus and work hard, study, check out the play bulletins, do your tests, get those back into us. We appreciate that work. I think we're seeing some improvement, definitely from week 1 to week 7. We've seen some improvement, so we'll just continue to forge ahead. If you'd like to send me some comments, email address is toddallen65@mac.com. Until next week, thanks for watching.